Hi guys, so I'm going to do the weekly tarot reading, and I'm going to talk about a topic that is a big one. I want to talk about forgiveness. Forgiveness is going to be kind of the theme of the weekly tarot reading, and it's one of those that some people are able to do it very easily. They understand the power of forgiveness. It sets them free. They do it for others. They understand how it works. And then there are others that think back on terrible things that have happened to them, be it a family member, a friend, a spouse, an ex-spouse, a stranger, whatnot, something horrible happening to them in their world, and they are having a hard time with this. This is something they hold on to and they just can't get there. I want to read something from the scriptures. It's from Colossians 3:12 through 13. Put on then as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience, bearing with one another, and if one has a complaint against another, forgive each other, as the Lord has forgiven you, so you also must forgive. And this is one of the big things with spirit, regardless to your faith. I feel like we all kind of know, regardless how you identify, whether it's, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, whatever your faith is, forgiveness is such a cornerstone with the spirit. One of the things the scriptures even say, not just about giving forgiveness, that spirit forgives. Spirit forgets. Okay, this is something we have a hard time doing, but that is what they say. There is a promise of that. Not only are people forgiven, but the offense, whatever it may be, is wiped off the map, forgotten. They don't even remember it. Can you imagine that? Wouldn't it be great, to not only be forgiven for certain things that we have done, but it's not even remembered anymore. It will never come up again once you've gone through. But I know there is a situation like, what if the person doesn't say they're sorry? What if they're not repenting and so forth? But, still, that is what it releases something. And you imagine if spirit is up there in heaven and has all these people on the planet doing God knows what, and they're just holding grudges for everybody. That would be really frustrating, right? But the spirit wants everybody to really, they want them home. And that's one of the things we need to understand. Regardless how you feel about, I don't care who they are. I don't care how bad of a thing that they have done. Spirit wants them to repent and come home. That's ultimately what it is. Transformed hearts, unity, everyone to come home. And so we kind of look at that, and forgiveness is really important because that's what spirit does for us. So we want to do that for others as well, as we would want the same for ourselves. And that's one of the main reasons that we do that. There's another one in here. Hopefully it didn't disappear. I was gonna read. Let me see if I can find it. But it is one in here. Hopefully there's so many. I pulled up a whole bunch of scriptures. Here it is. Then Matthew 18:21. Then Peter came up and said to him, Lord, how often will my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? As many as 7 times? Jesus said to him, I do not say to you 7 times, but 70 times 7. So, wow. Okay. He's like, you keep doing it. And I know that sounds crazy. And the scriptures you talk about, yes, you rebuke those that keep, sinning and stuff. But at the same time, we do want to forgive them. It releases them. One of the things, especially, like if you ever watch the Datelines and the cold case files and the various shows when things happen, they're at the trial, and I know you guys have seen it. And the family, the people are about to be sentenced, and the family goes up and speaks. And I know you've seen a lot of family members say that they forgive someone. May God have mercy on their soul. It's because they're doing that. It's because of those scriptures. It's because of their faith that they have learned a valuable lesson about forgiveness. And they want to do it the right way. They want to do what Spirit wants them to do. And even the worst of the worst, sitting in those courtrooms that have done horrific things, Spirit still wants to transform them, has always wanted that, and we need to remember that. Let's start the tarot reading. Let's see what the messages are. And the very first card is strength. And yes, when it comes to forgiving anyone, it's not a weak thing to do. Yes, there's a lot in the scripture that I just read you, a lot about humility and so forth, being humble, but that is a strength. It is strength to forgive anyone for anything that they have done to you, even if it's terrible. Say you were married and your husband cheated on you, or say, you lost a child to a drunk driver, the horrible things that can happen. It takes strength to forgive. And the Six of Earth is about gifts. This is the thing. This is the thing. Because this is about gifts, like receiving gifts. It is a pentacle, but I want you to think of the symbolism of the gift. Why would I give them this gift when they did this to me? Why would I give them a gift like forgiveness when they have hurt me, where they hurt my child, they hurt my mother, whatever it may be? Why am I, it would be a gift. It's like handing them over and saying, I thank you or something. It is a gift. That is true. Just as, do we want that gift ourselves? Do we want that gift from the Spirit? We've all done something. There's all something. We may have hurt someone. We may have betrayed someone. We may have harmed someone accidentally. I could easily be driving in a car and accidentally plow into someone, and I would want forgiveness. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Things happen. And I know that's one of the things, but I don't want to give them that gift. But do we not want to receive that gift? So we've got to think like that. We've got to think like spiritualists. That which wants to be transformed, ourselves, and be in alignment with Spirit. If we're going to be on this path of awakening and love and compassion and trying to do things the way Spirit wants us to do it, we've got to give that gift. We got to give the gift of forgiveness, even to the hardest, most difficult to be able to do. And this is the life experience card. So this is the Tower in tarot. So there are certain events that are tower moments with others that, can crush us. And it can be very difficult to forgive those moments. A powerful revelation that leads to change. But even in these moments, this is especially where the Spirit can grab us, and awaken us and change us. And after we go through that transformation, we may need to go back and say we're sorry to people ourselves. I want you to think, and I bet some of you that are watching me are in this position, so I'm going to speak to you directly, and I've grown up with it. But I know I'm going to have a few people who may have been addicts. You're recovering addicts, or you may even be in the thick of something right now. But when people fall into addiction, it could be their childhood or various things, whatever reason got them there, they were in a low place. But with the addiction, they hurt people. They could have hurt their children. They may have hurt their spouse, their mother, their father, their friends. It's devastating. And then they go on the road to recovery. And there's a lot of owning up to do. And one of the big things for the addict, many people in AA and so forth, is making amends with those that you hurt. And one of the things they need desperately is forgiveness. So, yes, terrible things happen in certain situations. The addict may have stole. The addict may have neglected children. They may have done various things. They may have lost their children. Maybe their children were taken away. Maybe those children are very wounded. But at the same time, you know, now I'm in recovery. I'm trying to do this right. They need that forgiveness, that gift, you know. So think on that for people, who really need that are owning up and trying to do the right thing and so forth. They're trying to transform. But imagine if no one forgave them. Where would they be? They're trying to grow. They're trying to evolve. They're awake now and everything. But if no one forgave them, what would it be like? That's really terrible. Another card is the sun. And just like I was thinking of that, one of the things the sun is about innocence. So I want you to kind of think on something though. None of us are innocent. We're kind of made innocent when spirit gives us that clean slate. We can start over again and, be glorious in their eyes if we can be. But that's the good, the upside, is to get in alignment with spirit. Okay, maybe I'm not a bad person. Maybe I made a lot of mistakes. There are things I've done. I've hurt people along the way. But for some reason, they're giving me, remember, this gift. And that is the one thing. It's almost like I'm made innocent again, at least in their eyes. Maybe I'm not to other people, but for them, the slate is clean. And that is a happy thing to be about, which a sun is also happiness. One of the things I just drew is the Three of Water, and that one of the messages of that is a celebration. And when I think of that, one of the things about forgiveness, say if you go to the spirit for forgiveness, there's a celebration in heaven, okay? And I feel like that is the message of the celebration card for that. Spirit's like, great. But also, when you forgive someone else, you may think it's not a really big, huge deal, but they're celebrating in heaven when you do. The angels are like, she forgave. She did it. She did it. That's what they're doing. There's a celebration in heaven. So it's a big deal when you are able to open your heart and release someone. It does also help you release your pain. And maybe, like I was saying, spirit may forget, and maybe we don't completely forget. And I'm not saying put yourself in a situation where you have someone wrong you again. You could say goodbye to them. You don't have to keep them in your life, but you can have that moment of forgiveness. And as I was tuning into that, the Queen of Water, the love and the compassion, that is what the Queen represents. And I know I have a lot of women that watch my videos, but especially that empath. And I know that there's a lot of you, it's like the empath is always getting taken advantage of, their good nature and everything like that. But that's where I want you to really, hone in on that strength card. You can be a strong empath. It doesn't mean you got to let people take advantage of you. And I feel that's a misconception when it comes to forgiveness. Yes, if somebody keeps doing you wrong, you're going to have to say goodbye to them. Do not get me wrong. Yes, that's what we do. I forgive you, but, I'm once bitten, twice shy. I've been through this with you before. Like, for instance, a chronic cheater or something. Okay, he's not going to change his ways with you. He's got some lessons to learn. We'll let spirit work on his heart, but for now, you need to let that one go. But forgive, and do not hold that resentment. But the Queen of Water, that energy, the empath and so forth, still can be strong. And, love and compassion is a strength. It is not a weakness. And that's where we kind of have to have that balance with other people. We still want to be strong empaths. You know, we're not letting people walk all over us. We're going to stand our ground and so forth. But we still want to give that gift, especially if somebody comes to us and says, I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry I did this to you. We need to give that gift. And then I just drew the Ace of Air. You know, it's a sword. And it does kind of feel like a double-edged sword, you know. Where obviously, you know, when someone wrongs us, do we not want to pick up the sword? You know, that's kind of human nature. That's, you know, oh, you know, my best friend, she was talking to my ex-husband, and what was she doing? And she went out on a date with him. You want to pick up the sword, right? You know, or just whatever wrong. Oh, you know, my boss, they cut my hours, and, you know, and now I can't pay my rent. You know, various things that happen, we want to pick up the sword. And it's just like that saying, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Okay? We, you know, sometimes, yeah, I mean, there are moments a sword is necessary. You know, obviously tarot though, but look at tarot. Are the swords positive in a tarot deck? Not really. You know, the majority of them are not very positive. And that's one of the lessons. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. You know, we got to kind of accept that. And so we have to be, you know, we do so much better, you know, when we give that love and compassion and that forgiveness and so forth, you know, than always, you know, going on attack and everything. You know, it's very, you know, I'm going to get them back. You know, it's just, that's, you know, would we want spirit? Well, I'm going to get them back. Okay, looks like they did that wrongdoing. They, you know, they were not very nice to, that person at the grocery store that was bringing up their groceries, and they kind of lashed out at him, and I think I'm going to teach him a lesson, you know. You know, how would you like that every time you did something, had spirits looking for a way to teach you a lesson? So we don't want to do that. And that is also the high priestess, and especially when I see the high priestess combined with the queen of water, especially, you know, for my psychics and so forth, you know, go within for that, you know, really go within, you know, listen to your intuition, especially is what it's about, you know. And one of the things that it says on the card is consider carefully what you want before acting. So, you know, when you're in a situation where somebody has done you wrong, think things through very carefully, you know, before you act. It's so easy to want to pick up the sword and then just lash out. And then I've got the death card, which is also release. Notice the release. You know, one of the things forgiveness does, you know, just like it says, the end of a phase or situation, spiritual transformation, time to move on. Is that not a great thing about it? When we're able to forgive, we can begin to move on, because it's like holding on to it keeps it alive. You know, it really keeps it alive, all that pain. And that's what a lot of spiritualists, especially the Christians who study the scriptures about forgiveness and read all this, they know that. And they know that deep down that it's the right thing to do. There's something about it when they read it and they're like, you know, I know this is true. This is right. This is what I need to do. And I got to find it in my heart, a way to be able to pull this off, you know, as hard as it can be. But that's especially what it does, this release. Notice death and release, you know, in this deck are very interesting. That's what it does. And that's when the transformation really begins. You know, there's something about that release, that ability to be able to let go, that sets us free. And then I just drew the Five of Swords. Five of Swords for me in tarot, it is a battle card. But it's, for me, that's symbolic of an end of a battle. There are casualties when you look at that. When you look at that, all the wrongs, all these people fighting and they're swinging their swords and everything, and you see the aftermath in that card, which this one doesn't show it. but for like the Rider Waite and so forth, you will see the aftermath. And one almost looks very proud of things he's done and everything, and other people are just completely wounded. Oh, if they could only learn forgiveness now. And that's one of the things, the battle comes to an end. And that is especially, there is an inner battle. And we also can battle others. You know, when we're angry about certain people, they did this or that to us, we kind of carry it with us. And then we may lash out on other people that remind you of the person that hurt you. You know, okay, so your father hurt you and they were abusive and this and that. So you may go on and be abusive when certain you're triggered, and you may abuse other people and so forth. This is why we got to forgive. This is another thing, it carries over. We repeat these things and we do things to people. It's so important to be able to release. Let's draw some oracle cards for this. But I felt, I really felt compelled to talk about this, that, it's an important message to get out there. Is just really talk about forgiveness. And I may have some comments. Some people are like, this happened to me, that happened to me, and I can't forgive and everything. And I know it's a tough lesson, but this is part of growing as a spiritualist. This is part of growing and healing, is to be able to forgive. And one of the cards I drew is New Beginnings. And that's one of the things that forgiveness does, is offers a new beginning. And also, maybe for people, maybe you're on the outs with some of your friends, but you could get a friendship going again. We can forgive. Maybe we can start up a new relationship with each other, and we can heal, and we can get that. Maybe the relationship, maybe it's not the same. Now, that is a lot of cases. Maybe we do forgive the spouse for cheating. Maybe we do forgive the friend because they did us wrong in some way. And maybe it's always going to be different, but it doesn't mean it can't go on and grow into something positive. It doesn't mean that. And that's why I try to be careful. Like, I know in the groups sometimes, some people, like, say if somebody's like, should I take him back? He cheated on me, this and that. I always take each situation differently. One of the things I will do with my deck, and I will sit there and read, I really read the intent of the other person. Is there remorse, or are they just waiting until they, stop looking at their phone? And there are times I do see that a person really does want to change, and they don't want to go down that road again. It's real important to see everyone is a little bit different. But, obviously, if they're not going to change, and a lot of people don't, that's true. But if they're not going to change and so forth, then the person obviously, has got to, I forgive you for what you did and everything, but I just can't go through it again. I don't feel that you're necessarily going to change, and I just can't set myself up for that heartache, to go through that. But there are some cases where they're like, I really love him, I want to give him a chance. Obviously that happens a lot too. And that's where I'm going to really read, does this person, are they really sincere when they say I'm sorry? And this is why a lot of people do give someone at least one chance, and do that forgiveness. And of course, knowledge, seek knowledge. And especially, that is one of the things, look up some of the, various spiritualities. It could be either in the Bible or it could be in other books about forgiveness for yourself. Kind of look into it, how important it is. But it does release something off you. But I look at that Six of Earth, that gift. I know it feels like I'm giving them a gift. Yes, you are. Do you want the gift too? And that's what I always think, I have a sister who I'm on the outs. I won't have her in my life because it's just been too many things, okay? But I forgive, I forgive. And the only thing I don't want bad things to happen to her, because I'm not going to be like that. That is not what I want. I want her heart to be transformed. That is what I want. I want her heart to be transformed. Maybe one day we can. maybe one day we can come together and kind of talk, but to keep myself in a safe zone, you know, I just feel it's best to be apart, and sometimes we got to do that. But I'm not going to sit here and carry around, well, she did this to me and that to me and that to me. I'm not going to carry all that in my heart and everything. I'm going to forgive her. Not only, you know, it's not about giving her a gift or anything. I'm not going to sit there and go to Spirit and go, teach her a lesson for me. You know, you never want to do that with Spirit. You never want to do that with Spirit, because Spirit doesn't like stuff like that. But just, you know, the main thing and so forth is, you know, I release you from that. And I had a very powerful dream once where she was in my attic as she was clearing out all her stuff, you know, and then she just kind of moved on, and the attic was perfectly empty and clean, you know. So it's like we're apart and everything, but I didn't carry all that crap, you know, anger, holding a grudge, you know, or a lack of forgiveness, you know, in my mind anymore. You know, no bad feelings, just, you know, I forgive you. This is who you are. This is, you know, everything. You know, I got to keep myself safe in my life because I can't have this keep happening, but I will forgive you. And we got to do that. You know, we got to be able to do that, because when we do it for others, it is done to us. I hope you guys enjoyed my read.